welcome to the MMA Roadshow, episode number 567. My name is John Morgan, and cold coffee is with me, although, you know what? For this week in particular, it might be warm coffee and cold John, because my ass is out here in Philadelphia, and it is cold coffee. There was snow on the ground. There was ice everywhere. I mean, like, in the parking lot, we're having to, like, it's not like snow. I mean, it's like packed hard ice. So we're like crunching over ramps of ice to like park cars and stuff. And it's cold. And everybody just laughs at me. They're like, really, John? Shorts?
Are you still wearing shorts?
You're still wearing shorts? It's all I got. I don't need the only pants I have.
Buy some jeans. Oh, my gosh. You got to buy some jeans. I'm going to talk to your wife. I'm just going to get on your Amazon account and just order you some damn pants with your next shirt order.
That's great. Yeah, I was joking.
Just give me your sizes. I'll order it. That is funny.
I was joking.
And it's funny because everybody's always like, I love snow. I love whatever. There's a difference between snow and cold weather and ice and what you're seeing out there. Like, that's not the pretty stuff. You know, I was just in Colorado, and everybody's, we're going to Vail. They're skiing. It's beautiful. It's gorgeous. And the snows, whatever. And they're like, why don't you like the snow? I was like, snow, I have no problem. It's all the other shit besides the snow that sucks. Walking through sleet and snow. And when I lived in Columbus, I didn't have a car for most of those years. So I was public transit, a bike, or walking through that shit. And walking through sleet, snow, nastiness sucks. Mm-hmm. It's terrible. Yeah, for most of the time there, I didn't have a car because I lived downtown. So you didn't need one. I had one if I needed. I got one by, I think, the last year or two I got one. But besides that, I just and it's no fun. Like it's beautiful when it's in the sky, but then it lands on the ground and it sucks.
I couldn't do it, man.
Yeah, you're dealing with it there.
First of all, it was funny because I was joking with my wife and also James Lyons, one of our matchmakers. I told him this. I was like, well, I did bring my extra warm shorts. You know what I mean? Because it was but no, man, it's funny. I was actually talking about that with Jason Liederfond. Like, we've been kind of carpooling this week with the rental car. And, like, I think Philadelphia is a cool city, man. Like, the history, like, it's really cool. You go to you think about it. Like, our country was, like, you know, a big portion of it was started here. There's so much, history. And, you know, we're crossing the Betsy Ross Bridge. And I'm like, you know, you hear Betsy Ross and you're like, like, that's just a figure. You're like, oh, no. I mean, all that stuff happened in this area. And it's amazing, you know. But the cold, man, I couldn't take it, man. So God bless Vegas, and I feel so bad because they've had a really bad winter. They've had to like shut down and all this stuff. And meanwhile, in Vegas, we had the warmest January in recorded history in Vegas. Like the average temperature was like 65 degrees every day in January. So anyway, out here in ice cold.
Yeah, I think we're supposed to get up to 70-something today.
Can't wait to get back home. Home.
Just throwing that out. Just putting that out there just a little bit for you.
Oh, that's funny. All right, listen, busy time in combat sports this weekend. Actually, super busy here in Philadelphia, right? Obviously, I'm here for CFFC 150. Me and Dean Thomas will be on the mic Friday night on UFC Fight Pass. We'll talk about that card a little bit just to give you a quick preview. But that's happening the next night right here in Philadelphia. Sold out BKFC Knucklemania 6. You got Ben Rothwell and Andrei Arlovsky. I kind of wish my schedule wasn't so full because I was like, man, is there any way I could squeeze in just like rolling over to a press conference or something and just saying hey to Ben and hey to Andre? Like, obviously those are two guys that we've covered their careers for decades, so to be in the same city with them would be kind of cool, but obviously just way too much going on. So all that's happening in Philadelphia. PFL is back, so Saturday morning, if you want to wake up early, you can check out that card in Dubai. And I mean, you know, now we're going to sit here and necessarily debate the merit. I mean, I don't even think it's a debate. No disrespect. I mean, I think the PFL card is a higher caliber in terms of, you know, the card as a whole than the UFC card is. I mean, there's some fantastic fights on that PFL card in Dubai. And then, of course, Saturday night is UFC at the Meta Apex. We'll get to see the Apex set up for the very first time for a UFC event. Still not completed yet, right? But we'll get to see what it looks like. Cold coffee, don't take any pictures when you're there for weigh-ins. I don't want you to get in trouble again and leak out what it looks like. Obviously, we've seen the setup for boxing.
It can't possibly change at this point. You know, I think the only thing that would change is the screens, right? Because the layout is good.
Okay, let me ask you.
I think they got upset because the screens were showing broadcast bars and something else. Besides that, nothing else changed from the room for the most part.
No.
I think they were just
Yeah, they wanted
it is what it is.
They wanted the grand reveal. They wanted it to look nice. But let me ask you, because you've been in there for boxing. I've been in there for boxing. The footprint of the ring has to be smaller than the cage, right? It feels smaller than the cage. I could be wrong.
Yeah.
Like those seats are going to have to be at least pulled back. I hope, man, I think they wouldn't go back to flat seats,
the biggest thing we're going to see
right?
is just the media row. I think the media row, you're either going to be in the seats probably. I don't think they're going to have a table like they normally would.
Yeah.
Because in terms of, there was only one table on the side of the boxing ring, which is typical like of how the octagon is, except the octagon's got the ring walk around the outside of it where the ring card girl goes. There's a little one for the boxing, and then they have the commission tables that sort of goes around some of the sides. I imagine you're going to have that one table, but as for anything out on the outside, I don't imagine there's going to be a big footprint like they have the UFC event. And I wouldn't think that they would pull chairs away just to include more commission seats and more media seats. I think the media they would either put up in the thing, or the media is going to be stuck back in the media room.
Yeah.
And they're going to lose their spot out in the floor. Because when I was looking around, I was like, there isn't any room on the floor, because
exactly.
When the people were walking out, when they're doing the boxing, I'd see these couple Metro officers kind of come walk in, take sides on the floor, and I'm like, okay, there's maybe you could probably have maybe 3 or 4 people wide walkway, and that's about it. How can you imagine putting a table or anything in there without removing seats? And what's the point of removing seats if the whole process was about adding seats, just to have the meeting? I would think they would remove the media and extraneous stuff outside of it. But anybody that's been to an Apex show knows that it's not just media. It's also, they got the Spanish desk off to the side doing commentary. They have the commentary team off to the side, the English-speaking commentary off to the side. How's that all going to look? Are they going to change all that sort of stuff? And they're going to have to. But in terms of seats, I don't know, outside of just the corners, how they can add any more seats than what they have for the boxing, because you have the video screens on the 4 main corners,
so it can't
or
go
the
up
4 main sides,
them.
I should say. They can't go up and block the screen. So the only areas that they can aim up are the corners that would fit kind of in between the screens. And I think the NXT maybe did have those up a little bit higher. So maybe there is a little bit of room to add a little bit more. But in terms of the floor, that's the biggest question I had, was how the floor is going to look, because there's just no room. There's just no room.
No, I'm anxious to see it. So I'm knocking on wood right now as I say this, but I have an early flight out on Saturday here from Philadelphia. Direct flight, luckily, back to Vegas, and I should make it in time. Maybe miss the first fight, maybe, I don't know, but I'll make it in time for the card for sure. I'm going to try to make it there for the whole card, but I may be a little late for the first fight. But I'm actually anxious to see it. So we'll talk about those fights in a minute as well. Hey, you know what? I don't know if I said this before, and I want to say it real quick, because you were mentioning Metro, which is Las Vegas Metro, the police department. I don't know if I've said this, but the last couple big UFC pay-per-views at T-Mobile Arena, they've had Ulysses Gomez as one of the Metro police officers that escorts the fighters in and out. So the UFC vet is since he retired, he's become a Metro police officer.
He became a Metro?
Yeah, and now they've had him as the assigned officer. It was funny because I just happened to look over one day and I saw him. I was like, dude, what's up, man? And now he's done the last couple shows. So I was like, I got to think that's got to be kind of fun for him, right? Obviously he's a full-time Metro officer, but now he gets to be back around the sport. He fought in the UFC.
Yeah.
And he was a kind of an early pioneer of the lighter weight classes, and now he's a Metro police officer. So it's cool. So I've seen the last call, and I always give him a little shout out and say what's up. He's a good dude. He's a really good dude. His brother's obviously big in the soccer world. He's a good dude as well, man. I like those guys a lot, man. I made friends with them. They were one of the first friends I made when we moved out to Vegas. So it's cool to see him. I don't know. Just came to my mind because I don't think I mentioned that. So look, there you go. Look on broadcast. You got to look for UFC vet Ulysses Gomez when the Metro police officers are escorting the fighters in and out of the cage in the UFC. Before we get to all the fights, you were busy yesterday at the media day, and I want to talk about that because I watched all the media day interviews on the Home of Fight YouTube channel to give our man Jake Noacker a couple little extra views. You know what I mean? He helps out CFFC.
Well,
and he was there.
Yeah, because it's funny because somebody was like, I was talking to Alex Bahunin, and I was like, dude, who else is going to be here? He's like, Homa Fight's going to be there. I was like, who the fuck is Homa Fight? And then when he got there, I saw Jake. I was like, what's up, Jake? And I didn't put two and two together that that's who he was there with or whatever.
That's
But
funny.
yeah, I was like, good to see you, Jake. He's like, hey, because I'd met Jake before, years ago or a little while ago or whatever. I just saw him at one of the events. But yeah, this was the first event that they were credentialed. And he's like, yeah, the UFC reached out and said, hey, you want to come cover this event? Like trying to get his foot in the door. Obviously, he's trying to get credentialed, and he's doing the exact thing that we've always told people. If you want to try to get your foot in the door and start working events, you do one of these events. You don't ask to get into a pay-per-view event and then, then you get mad. Why didn't I get credentials? Well, what other events have you covered? None. Oh, so you mean the pay-per-view was the first one you tried to cover? Oh, well, maybe that's why you didn't get in, So he did exactly, and he did a great job. He popped in. It was funny because there was like 1, 2, 3, 5 of us.
Right.
5 of us participating. There was one other reporter in the room, but I think she was just a Japanese reporter or something. She didn't really take part in anything, but for the most part, it was just the 5 of us, and everybody just kind of chipped in. It was really, really cool. It was really good. So. Yeah, but yeah. So Jake was there in Homa Fight. Now I know who Homa Fight is.
Now you know. Yeah, he is. So Jake, for anybody who doesn't know, Jake is kind of I'd say like an up and coming type guy in the media space, whatever. But he also helps us out at CFFC. He does some matchmaking for us. He does some interviews and some content creation and stuff for us. And yeah, exactly what you said. He's been trying to get in for a while. He used to get in with Cage Side Press like years and years ago. Left Cage Side Press for this opportunity at Homa Fight, and then was they couldn't get credentials for the longest time, and so they've been working at it. Finally got granted this week, and you're exactly right. Go to the small shows when there's not as many applications. And it was funny because he was talking to me a couple weeks ago. He's like, hey, I know I'm supposed to be at the CFFC show to help out, but I got this credential. And I was like, dude, go. Like, go do this.
Yeah, go do what you got to do. It's funny because he was actually hanging out. I think he's sharing they both got a hotel room. I think they're sharing. Well, I guess I don't need to tell us or whatever, but he was hanging out with the Cage Side Press guys.
Makes
as well.
Sense.
So no, it's good. So he's coming out with, and I think they partially came out as well to help support him, but also to be there for the event and to see him. So I was like, oh, now it makes a lot of sense, especially hearing now that he did work with Cage Side Press. I can now see why him and Cage Side Press walked in together yesterday.
They're boys, yeah. So it's like, hey, we're boys. Why don't we save some costs or whatever?
Yeah, and I don't get to see Eddie Law that often either, and it's good to see Eddie.
He's
yesterday.
a good dude too.
So yeah, it was me, Armando, Alex, Eddie, and Jake yesterday.
Yeah, you guys had a good group. I enjoyed the interview. So we'll get to those interviews in a second, but the reason I ask is, did you get a chance at all to see the coverage of Dana White on the stand at the trial in Las Vegas? These are the Cage
I know
Johnson,
the team's
Misha
been paying
Serkinov.
Yeah, I know the team's been paying attention to it, but I let the smarter people handle, all that kind of stuff. I knew it was going on, but my focus yesterday was just media day. I started seeing some of the highlights and some of the clips, but I didn't go back and check anything. I probably should, but it's low on the scale of what I really care about looking at right now. Because when I saw some of the answers that he was giving, I was like, okay. Yeah, it's just what I would expect him to be saying. So I'm like, why do I need to really go back and check this shit out?
So here's what I found to be interesting. So you're right. So first of all, no cameras, so it's just like people were able to listen on the phone. So there's a lot of tweets and information and all that. For anybody, and as you said, there's people that are way more versed in legal cases and that are experts in this field. So not pretending to be experts by any stretch, and that's why we won't cover it to a great degree. But there was some things I found interesting that I thought were fairly obvious, that it just seems like people don't seem to know about how the UFC works and how the operations work now. But bottom line is, these are additional antitrust suits that don't cover the class that was already settled. Cajun Johnson, Misha Serkinov, Phil Davis, CB Dalloway, a couple of the plaintiffs here. And anyway, this hearing right now, the reason Dana White was on the stand is because some stuff is missing. The plaintiffs are saying, listen, some communications, text messages, and all that, and they call it spoilage, I believe, is what the evidence is spoiled. You didn't give us everything that we need because some of it's gone, and therefore we can't make the case that we need to make because some of the evidence that we needed for you to produce and that you're legally required to produce, you didn't, and it's gone, and therefore, because we can't prove our case now, we need the judge or the jury to assume that everything we're saying is right. So that's what this is all about. But Dana White had to be on the stand. And it's funny because a lot of the reports out there, and this is why I want to be clear, because there's a lot of people coming out saying, see, Dana White said he doesn't do matchmaking. I told you guys he doesn't do anything anymore. Hunter Campbell is the one running the show, and Dana White is absolutely just a figurehead. Nothing could be further from the truth. Dana White is still very, very, very much involved. He just doesn't do the tedious responsibilities of the matchmaking, such as actually getting the contracts issued, actually negotiating the deals. It's more about, hey, let's sit in the room, let's talk about fights, let me tell you what I think, here's what I think, and now I need you to make the phone call, and I need you to handle it, and that's what he's done. He's got a million other responsibilities, as we talked about. So I just want to make I just was hoping to make that clear, I guess, because it seems like a lot of people are seeing, because Dana White said, I don't do the matchmaking anymore, I have Hunter Campbell do it. Well, what he's talking about is the mechanics of the matchmaking. Matchmaking is probably the least fun job in all of mixed martial arts. Like, it sounds fun in terms of like, hey, I get to make all the fights and I get to put the things together, and that part is, but all the mechanics of it, of like actually getting the stuff done, negotiating the deals, et cetera, it's not fun. You know what I mean? It's a lot of work. There's a reason Joe Silva, as soon as he cashed out, bounced and said, you're never going to see me again. I don't want to do this anymore. You know what I mean? There's a reason Sean Shelby and Mick Maynard are stressed as hell. And so that's what Dana White does is turn things over to him. So Dana White is still very, very, very much involved in the matchmaking process, just not so much the mechanics of everything that has to happen to get done. That's what all those people do. So I just want to, because not that it necessarily matters a lot, but I hate when I see people saying things that are incorrect, and they're kind of they're kind of just reporting it incorrectly or assuming incorrectly by what they see. So that's how the process works. So Dana is still very much involved in things. He does talk to fighters. He does talk to managers. He just doesn't handle all the specifics.
He's not drafting legalese, right. That's not going to be Dana.
Yeah,
exactly. Come on.
All that stuff is handled elsewhere.
You sent me, I don't want to cut you off too much from this. You sent me down a rabbit hole when you said the name CB Dollaway, and immediately started thinking about that crazy elevator incident where he hurt his back, and then those fighters were stuck in the elevator.
Crazy.
It's kind of like a crazy trivia,
crazy lost story.
That fight and stuff. Yeah, crazy lost story.
That is a funny one.
But yeah, when you said that name, and that's the first thing that popped in my head. I was like, Dollaway's the elevator guy, right?
So I'm gonna give you another name. That, since you weren't really involved in this coverage. So did you see who's taking the stand today?
No.
Okay, so Dana was yesterday. I think Dana White, like, as we're, today it'll be recorded and all that, and it will come out at some point. I don't know if Dana's going to come back on today or not, but two names that are Elliot Howard and Eric Yee.
Okay.
And so,
wow,
it's funny because so here's what else came out yesterday. So people were like, oh, come on, this is ridiculous. Basically, Dana testified that, like, bro, I don't set up my phone. Like, I don't know. He's like, I get a new phone and I have Elliot Howard set it up for me and it's done. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know anything like that. And a lot of people were like, get out of here. Like, I'm like, a couple of things. Number one, Dana White is, let's not forget, 57 years old. Like, you know what I mean? Like, yeah. I'm starting to get to the point where I go to my son Eli to help set up some stuff in my phone for me. So let's not forget that. And let's also remember that Dana White is incredibly wealthy and has assistants around him. So anyway, I saw a lot of people going, who is this Elliot Howard character, and how could he be setting up his phone? And, maybe Elliot Howard has been mysteriously deleting data in the case. I'm like, do you guys not know who that is?
You don't know who Elliot is?
Elliot is the videographer for years and years. I mean, when you go back to the vlogs, right? The behind the scenes vlogs. That's Elliot. That's
Elliot.
The dude that's been with them forever. And I think, and now
you used to see him always up on the stage. He'd have the camera right next to Dana's face when the fighters. He would stick the camera in between the two guys, so you would see him on the stage. You don't see him there anymore. There's other guys do it.
Because now you see
Eric there.
You do see Eric Yee. I was going to say, you see Eric Yee doing it.
What's funny, because the first time I saw Eric on stage, I was like, what? I was like, who's this fucking tourist that just walked up onto the stage and he's sitting there with his camera? He looked like the quintessential Asian tourist that walked up on the stage, because you had the cameras on the one side and then you had a guy with a fucking mobile phone.
He's there with his phone.
Shooting on the other side. And I was like, who the fuck? Is he lost? I was like, who the fuck is this? And then I figured out who Eric was. I was just like, but it still cracked me the fuck up. And you still see the mobile team go up there with their phones. I'm like, you guys look like absolute jackasses up there with your cell phones.
It is really funny because the UFC social media team does that. Now I didn't even actually pay attention to this the other night with Paramount, but the ESPN, I should say, the ESPN social media team does that too, right? Like they'll like live stream Instagram or whatever. But it's funny how like it is. I mean, phones, just the camera quality is so good now that like it is a worthwhile tool. But like you and me are both old school. Like I remember I'm old school journalist that like you showed up to the interview and you had like your little recorder or whatever. And I remember when people started using their iPhones as recorders and they would set their phone. Yeah, they would set their phone down like next to the subject or in the middle of the scrum. And I used to be like, that is so unprofessional. You have to have a recorder.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Whereas in the same way, you're like, no, bro, you have to have your Sony HD 4K camera. You're like, I could just use my phone.
But what's funny, because on the other side of Dana, you do have that. I remember I just started looking because it was like they would have like 3 separate people shooting the same like in-your-face stuff. Back when Elliot was around, Ellie would shoot it and would go to the vlog. Then you'd have the guys at my old team there shooting it that would go to Fight Pass or .com or whatever before the .comers became like this whole separate social team. And then you started seeing the social team on the other side doing it, and it was like, where is all this footage going? Because you would never see it, but you would see 3 different people up there shooting at every angle. And then now when you try to ask, like the VIP people that Dana brings, I'm like, there's no room up on the stage because you got all these people shooting that one shot. But I will tell you, even back in the day, I'm pretty sure there was a point where even Gilbert was running Dana's phone and like setting up social media accounts and doing all kinds of stuff.
He hasn't done that for years.
For years, it's always been like that. That's why I think for a point I was having Strikeforce follow me, UFC follow me, and somebody else. It was because Gilbert, I was like, dude, make Strikeforce follow me. I love Strikeforce. She's like, okay. So I had the Strikeforce account start following me. Like, to think that, yes, Dana, the day-to-day is on Dana's, but to think that Dana set up the TikTok apps, the Instagrams, the anything to shoot this stuff. No, and these are the people that taught him how to use it and set up all this stuff. So, to think that they have access. I mean, can they log into the accounts on a separate phone? Sure. There's many managers that do the same sort of thing. But when it comes to, somebody setting up and having access to his account, 100%. And it's always been that way, just because he didn't know what to do it. But the team were like, we need to have these things. You need to have access. We have to do this. We have to be on social media. We have to do this. Guys, I can't do this. Just fucking do it for me kind of thing. That's ultimately what it boils down to.
It. So, anyway, I wanted to clarify that because, again, it bothers me when people are putting incorrect information out there, but also I thought you would get a kick out of the fact that there's people going, who are these Elliot Howard and Eric Yee characters, and what I saw anyway.
I mean, and for the Elliot, like if you go way back, Elliot's like, I mean, there's so many stories about Elliot, but like one of the ones I know, I think they were at a steakhouse. They were somewhere in Chicago or Wisconsin, somewhere where it was really, really cold, and I think Dana paid him like $10,000 to run back to the hotel like in his underwear or something like ridiculous, and he did it.
Hell yeah, he did.
I mean, this is. I mean, so I
these
mean,
are the wild days. That was the Wild West days. Things used to be a
wild days, wild shit, like fucking crazy.
People.
You want a guy that
corporate UFC was a lot different.
Yeah, I mean, this is you want to talk about a guy that will take shit to his grave. That's Elliot. Elliot was around during the wildest of Wild West days. Back when he's had security guys come and go and do different things. And in fact, even Elliot, I think, left for a little bit to go do some other things or whatever, but came back in it because I know he's making good money for what he was doing. But yeah, Elliot's he's a solid dude. He's a really, really nice guy.
Really good dude. He's
a good guy.
Yeah. You're like Elliot could absolutely write a book, but absolutely never would. You know what I mean?
But absolutely never will.
Never will. He saw it all, and he's been around for all of it. But Dana's taking care of him, and
he's a good dude.
He's a good
shooter.
Yeah, he is a good shooter.
Yeah, he's a good shooter.
He's a good shooter. Hey, it's funny. This just made me think about on the phones. A random story. So last Saturday, I went to Siegel's Bagel Mania. Which, by the way, Bagel Mania, it's a hidden gem. I kind of want to gatekeep it a little bit, but if you're ever in Las Vegas, go to Siegel's Bagel Mania. I think it's a terrible name for a restaurant, but it's like a diner, and it's me and my wife and kids' like favorite breakfast spot in all of Las Vegas. It's right next to the convention center, Fontainebleau, so it's in the Strip area, but it's cheaper prices. So if you're coming to Vegas and you're looking for a nice breakfast, brunch, whatever, put it on there. But I went there because it was the World Bagel Eating Championships. Joey Chestnut was there. All 12 competitors up there. Oh, yeah, he was eating bagels. Joey Chestnut ended up being the winner. But that's not why I went. Well, it's funny because I actually saw like a random advertisement on my social media that it was coming up, and I made a little note. I was like, oh, that might be something goofy for me and the family to do on a Saturday at our favorite breakfast restaurant. Go watch a bagel eating competition. But I totally forgot about it because, like, what? But it just sounded like a random thing, like you're always looking for fun shit to do. But then I get a text from our man, Ben the Bane Davis, was actually commentating this thing. They aired it on Triller. It streamed live on Triller. And so he was like, bro, do you want to come by? I'm like, I'm so happy you asked me because I had totally forgotten about it. It's like, yes, I'll come by and say what's up and see what you're doing. And actually, it ended up being a funny day, so we were standing up. But what reminded me of that I did that, was one of the guys, I don't know who the production crew was, but one of the guys came up and he had like a phone stand on a tripod, but it had like 6 other attachments coming off of it. They were all phones. The dude had like an array of 7 phones on a tripod, all like angled at different, so he could get different shots or whatever, but it was all like 7 different iPhones just angled in different directions that I guess feeding back to streaming or whatever. But I was like, look at that shit, dude. Like, talk about doing stuff on a budget but making it work. Like, they just put an array of phones, man. I thought it was pretty interesting.
You got movies being made now with like iPhones and stuff. I mean, like, the days of having to have like the crazy big large cameras and the stuff have changed, I mean, and it's like with anything. I mean, you can use the gear that you have to the best of its ability, and the gear has changed the game. Like the phones of today are very, very different than the phones of even 2-3 years ago. It's pretty wild. It's pretty wild. But yeah, no, that's cool. That's very, very cool.
Oh, Ben the Bane, he's feeling this. All right, listen, UFC Media Day was yesterday. You were there. Like I said, I watched all the videos, man. I thought you guys did a great job. The small crew, as you said there, but everybody pitched in, and I thought I got some good interviews. And listen, it's our first fight night, so, we've had a couple numbered events, so now we're going to see what Paramount Plus does with the fight nights, how they handle them, how their coverage is. Like I said, I've been universally very pleased with what Paramount is doing so far, so we'll see how they handle the fight nights. But this main event, I mean, obviously this card is not as deep top to bottom as the numbered events have been, but the top several fights are very, very good, including this main event, Mario Bautista versus Vinicius Oliveira. 2 guys that aren't like huge trash talkers or whatever. Mario Bautista especially is a very just kind of calm, reserved guy. A guy that I didn't realize, I honestly didn't realize this week was born in Nevada. Like he lives in there. He was born like way up north in a little tiny town. Obviously he fights out of Arizona now, but I didn't know he was actually a Nevada.
Where I didn't know
born and raised. Yeah, so I just learned that against Vinicius Oliveira, who's not a huge trash talker, but a little bit more boisterous for sure. Obviously the first I've been showing everybody here in Philadelphia. I'm assuming you saw. I mean, it got brought up, but did you see the social media post when Vinicius Oliveira like showed the scale that he was standing on, that he needed to lose like 30 pounds at the beginning of this week?
I didn't go look at it, but I they told me all about it yesterday. Alex was talking about it a little bit. That's crazy.
Did anything stand out to Alex other than the number that was on the scale? Did he mention anything else to you?
No.
The man's feet and toenails are just jacked up. I mean, if you guys, I've been showing this. I've been showing this.
Now I'm definitely not going to watch it. Now I'm definitely not going. I thought you were going to say like, all right, it looks like they're playing shenanigans, but yeah, I don't want to go and see some jacked up feet.
This man got talons. He got talons down there, man. Like needs
well, the commission gonna make him clean that up. Commission ain't gonna let him go in there with a weapon.
Oh, I could not believe that. I was like,
son,
bro. who is posting this picture? Nobody
funny.
told you? Like, this is terrible. So anyway, I thought that was funny. But so anyway, it is interesting, right? Because Vinicius said in the the interview, like, hey, no, that is pretty normal for me. Like, I'm not worried. I'm gonna make it, but I'm probably not long for this division. Like, I don't know if I can keep making that forever. And so I thought that was a little not problematic, but I don't know. You hate to hear that because he's kind of this fast rising star. You know what I mean? So you hate to hear somebody that's really making his way in division say that I'm probably not going to be in this division very long. And I tell you what, man, that doesn't bode well for, like, give me a title shot, et cetera, et cetera. Like, so I just think he needs to be real careful about that because it might kind of impact what he does. Obviously, he's got to get through Mario Bautista first. And the other thing that stood out to me about Vinicius Oliveira is I did love when he was talking about Umar Nurmagomedov, and he used the phrase, he runs away from me like a demon runs away from the curse. I was like, that's some poetic shit right there.
Yeah, and it's funny because when I was thinking when he said it, I was like, did he say curse or did he say cross?
Oh, that would have been even better. Maybe
that's
he did.
It made more sense to say the cross, but
maybe he did. I said
so.
curse.
In my head, I said. In my head, I was like, okay, maybe he said cross because cross makes more sense than a curse because demons usually curse people or do whatever.
That would be even better.
But still, it was pretty good. But, I mean, like, it's as much as I know he sees the end of his days at that division, but if he keeps continuing rising, I don't see him trying to make that jump. I think he'll have to just be smarter. I don't see him making that jump out of the division before he gets a title shot, but if he keeps moving up and he gets through Bautista, the way that he's going through stuff, I mean, they're fast-tracking him for, that shot. And if you get through Bautista and if he can get a good decisive finish here, then, yeah, I think then his team just needs to get him in check and stay with this run until he gets that shot. If he loses to Bautista, then you make the change, and then you maybe, because if it's hard and you can't get through Bautista, you're not going to go higher. There's no point in killing yourself to try to just get back to a point to even challenge Bautista to get back towards the top. So, but I would think if he gets through him, I mean, and the way that he talks, the way that he looks, he's not the best English, fights. But he's got
the way that he fights,
but he's got
too.
English. The way that he fights, he's got 4 UFC fights. I think after the Contender Series, let me pull up his thing. And just going off the top of my head, 2 of those were Fight of the Nights, and 1 was also a performance bonus. Out of 4 fights since I think the Contender Series. Let me just double check that. That's bonkers, dude.
That's crazy.
That is just like
and imagine
just like
and now those are $100,000 bonuses. My goodness.
Yeah, this Contender Series, September 26, 2023, had a canceled bout and then flying knee victory. That was Fight of the Night and performance of the night. Unanimous decision. Another unanimous decision against Nurmagomedov. That was Fight of the Night, and then that unanimous decision against Kyler Phillips. Dude, you come in, you get a Contender Series, an awesome Contender Series victory, and then you get 2 performance bonuses out of the 4 fights. Like, bro, like, they want you to challenge for the top. And the fact that he looks the part and he's talking the parts, they want this kid to go up. But I mean, like, they're giving him this is Mario. We've seen Mario just break hearts of the people that they thought, were going to be these up and coming next person. So I mean, if he can get through this challenge, and let alone if he gets through it in a decisive fashion, both of them on their first main event, 5-round fights. So we're going to see how that plays out. Dude, he's just got to get it in check. His team will need to get him in check and say, dude, we can't lose this momentum. We can't lose what you've done in this division. You just got to fix that 30-pound because, he's young enough now that you can do those sort of changes.
Yep.
And I guess he could push himself through, and I guess we'll see what happens tomorrow, how he looks and if he makes it. But if that's the case and he gets through this fight, his team's got to help him out and save him from himself. 30 pounds that close to a fight every time is just way too hard. It's too crazy. We've seen what it does to guys. I mean, like, when I was talking, so I was showing my friend the videos the other day and watching Cam Smotherman fall face first on his face, and he still made the weight. So to think about the guys that are dropping weight and how dangerous that the weight part is, and so when you see a young kid cutting this much weight, it's going to destroy his body at some point, and it's going to affect it some point down the line. And you just rather him, make better choices after this. You're cutting the weight, you're doing this stuff. Let's just maybe not bounce back to the normal. Let's change the new normal.
Agreed.
If this is where we're going, because we're getting close to the top, kid. Like, keep it together. We've seen the Anthony Johnsons. We've seen the people that have literally destroyed their bodies in front of us for this sport, and that was hard to watch. You go back and think about all the time the fact that we don't have Anthony Johnson with us anymore, to think about what he was doing to his body at such a big frame, and just shifting between the different weight classes and doing all that stuff. I mean, I feel like we literally watched him shorten his life.
We did. It was scary watching, and obviously he was so beloved by everybody. But you would see him like the whites of his eyes starting to get yellow.
Yeah, it was all jaundiced.
Yeah, because his liver and kidneys were failing as he was dehydrating himself, and it was hard to watch, man. Especially.
Yeah. And that the whole time he'd smile and still have that great personality through the whole thing. I'm like, bro, why are you not like angry and grumpy? Like, what's going on with your body right now? Like your eyes, but he's fucking big old smile and had like the biggest, coolest personality, and he was the man. That was a big loss for the scene.
And watching him fight. I mean, he was such a good dude, and then watching him fight, he was a fucking savage, man. All right, one quick thing about Mario Bautista that stood out to me as well, and I like Mario, man. He's just he's not a huge personality, but I loved, he was asked about, does Merab Dvalishvili really deserve the rematch for Peter Yan, and he just came out and he was like, yeah, he does. You know what I mean? Like, he fought 4 times. He fought high-level guys. He deserved. And it was funny because as I was watching that, I'm like, that's not the marketing answer. That's not the trash talk answer that's going to get the headlines and going to get people chirping and talking. But I respect the hell out of you that you're just like, bro, I know that dude's in my division, and I know that he's where I want to be. But, like, even I have to admit, like, yeah, that dude deserves it. So I thought that was cool. Just kind of showed his character.
Even went so far as to say that he thought Merab would win it back in a rematch.
Yeah, he did. I
was like, whoa, damn, okay. Even after seeing that, I mean, like, it's tough to think that Merab won't, but man, we all saw that performance and it was like, wow, where's the Merab that we know?
That Peter Yan was amazing. That Yan was amazing.
Yes.
Co-main event's a big one. Amir Albazi, Kyoji Horiguchi. I've always been a big Amir Albazi fan. I just like his demeanor and his accent. You know what I mean? Like, it's a weird match together. I like the way he handles himself. He's such an aggressive dude, but he has like the proper accent and everything. I just think it's always funny. But I'm gonna put this, and you tell me. Maybe I forgot. I don't know. I've been a huge Kyoji Horiguchi fan. Like, obviously, I covered his career the first time he was around. Like, I was around for all that run, and I remember his growth. And I remember at the time when he left the UFC thinking that dude, he obviously got rushed to a title shot too quickly. But I'm like, this dude is going to be a UFC champion. Like, he's fighting Demetrius way too early in his career, but he's good, and he's going to be a champion. And you hear, then he went to Japan, made a ton of money, and we were always told, like, listen, this just makes the most sense for him. He's making way more money here than he would in the UFC, and he's not going to be a champ right now. And it's like, good for him. And you would hear the legendary stories. I mean, obviously at ATT, they call the dorms Horiguchi Hall because he, moved in there and put in the work, and he's a leader around there.
Yep.
All those things. So I'm a Horiguchi fan. I love his fighting style. I can't wait to see him on Saturday night. I'm excited that I get to see Kyoji Horiguchi up close again and at the Meta Apex. I'm excited for that. But let me know if we didn't know this or I had just forgot. His laugh cracks me up. I didn't know he just like, he's got this giggle and everything. I didn't know.
Yeah.
I guess I always see the smile and I always see the attitude, but I didn't know he had that funny giggle, and I was just cracking up the whole time I was watching the interview.
No, I remember thinking, like, has he always been this? Like, I think he was just really enjoying himself. I can't remember a time where he was like that. Even
me neither.
Even funny would just coming out. How you doing? I'm hungry or whatever. Like at food. I was just like, you could tell he was in a good mood, but no, he was very boisterous. Even how he kept like, what was the phrase he kept throwing out? Like, I don't give a shit. Or something. Then he'd like giggle and he'd laugh about it. And he was so happy. Like, he practiced. He'd been working on that one. No, he was in great spirits. But no, I don't remember. I don't ever remember him being that loud and like enjoying himself as much.
I don't either.
This whole time. So I mean, he's fully embracing. And I mean, like, you got to think too. When we first saw him, and I was talking to the guys about this yesterday. So the first run in the UFC started back in 2013. 2013, right into like 2014. He's 35 now, if I'm not mistaken.
Sounds
so when you
about
do the math, the kid was like 23, 25, 20,
young,
whatever.
Young.
22, 23 when he was there. He was just a puppy, man. Like, we think about these young kids now, And to think that Horiguchi, yeah, I mean, when you look at him now, you're like, how is he still doing this? And he's still got time.
Yep.
He's only 35. He's still got some years on him. And you're like, bro, nobody that you fought is still around anymore.
So true.
They're all gone. And he's still back doing it again, and he's fighting at a high level, and he's looking incredible doing it, and he looks good. He's just it's amazing. It's a testament to the work that he's done and how good this guy is the fact that he's been doing it at such a high level through multiple organizations, and he's still smiling. He's still having a good time, and he's still got gas in the tank, man. He's not. I felt like he should have. As much as we've seen this kid, I thought he'd be like 40. 41, like, bro, you've been around forever.
No,
and he's still
in his prime.
He's still what? This is like the prime range. I'm sure Dana's. I feel like between like 27, 28 to like 35, 36 is like the age range that Dana's always like, these guys are in their prime. Then after this, they immediately just fall like they're over the hill. After they reach this 35 or 36, Dana's like, no, I'm done with them, or whatever. But like, this is he's got man strength. He's got everything at this, and he's got all this experience, man. It's incredible to see him looking so good. And then to show up on fight week like he's having an absolute blast, and there's nothing fake about it. Nothing that you were seeing, it didn't feel like, oh, he's just making himself feel like he's having a good time. He looked like he was really, really enjoying himself. I loved it, man. I loved it.
He is 35. You're spot on. He's 35 years old, and his career record, if anybody hasn't paid attention and hasn't, 35-5. I mean, you just don't see records like that in MMA anymore.
That's
like
crazy.
that. It's unbelievable.
Nope.
That number of fights, that many wins, like that's spectacular, man. So I'm looking forward to that one.
The guys over at the Ryzen, whatever. Like, remember when the UFC guys thought that they can go over there and just dominate? What happened?
Mm-hmm.
What happened when the UFC guys went over there? They got murked.
Yep.
Like he's been fighting tough guys like the whole time, so he didn't go away to get easier competition, and that's why when he comes back, he's doing as good as he's doing because he's been fighting tough guys, man. It's amazing. It's amazing. I feel bad because I didn't pick him in this one, but watching him yesterday, I was like, I think I want to go back and switch my pick to Horiguchi because I picked him in the last one and it was right. Horiguchi, I would not be surprised if Horiguchi beats Albazi, but Albazi, man, if Albazi wasn't dealing with injuries and dealing with whatever, and if he's coming in as good as he says, Albazi is a real threat against anybody, and I'm counting on his grappling and whatever to work out, but honestly, I love Horiguchi so much, I don't care about being wrong in this one. If Horiguchi steals the win, I'm like, I don't even care, dude. I was just so happy seeing him do his thing. Outside of Derek Lewis, that's the only guy I really, really homer for. Matt Brown I did as well, I guess.
Of course.
But I don't homer that often anymore. I'm trying to get that 5, baby.
Yeah,
Number 5. Let's go.
I love it. I love it, man. Well, I'm looking forward to that one. Obviously, a big heavyweight fight as well. Jalton Almeida and Rizvan Kuniev. It just sucks. It's just a I mean, we've talked about it before, but just the heavyweight division is just it's on hold. Whenever you have a division that's on hold, it kind of makes like what should be a pretty big fight not feel as big because it's not going to get anybody anything because nobody's even having time. So just that's kind of a bad thing about the heavyweight division right now. But some other fights
will certainly get a jump up if he can get that win. He'll get a nice jump up. He's not even in the rankings right now, so if he can go in there and beat Jalton, which is number 6 right now?
Yep, that'd be a huge jump, and he can.
Huge.
But you know what? By the way, I think you and Rizvan got something going, man. I think y'all had a nice little.
I asked him one question, and he went on for like 20 minutes. So I was like, I look over at poor Sergio. I was like, okay, so is he gonna remember all this?
That's the two things I wanted to say. Number one, I was like, I don't. Cold Coffee and Rizvan are like boys or something. He got excited, and I was like, and then number 2, I was like, look. Fabiano, like, rightfully gets all the love as the translator, right? Like, he's a good dude, and obviously, like, he's so great as a translator, and he multiple languages and all that. But give Sergey some props, bro.
Yep.
I was like, there's no.
I think I just said Sergio. Sergey.
You did Sergio, but the Russian translator was not named Sergio. We all knew. You translated the Russian.
I translated his
into
name
Spanish.
into something else.
Yeah. But no, Sergey. And by the way, Sergey, Sergey is fantastic, and we actually helped get Sergey his job because I shouldn't say that, but he came in and translated once for the Russians, and we immediately went to PR and we're like, can that dude just do all the Russian from now on? Because that's the most. That's the most we've ever gotten from a Russian. Because and again, it's not. I don't mean to be disrespectful, but a lot of times they would just like use guys from camps or whatever. And it's like a lot of the Russians don't even say that much anyway. But then when the translation isn't very good either, it's like you get nothing out of it. And so Sergey came in. Yeah. Sergey came in and did what he did. And I'm like, can we use that guy for every time? And they have. They used him for every time. But I just want to give him – I just want to give him a round of applause because Rizvan had like a 3-minute answer to you, and Sergey didn't even like bat an eye.
Oh, it was much longer than that. It was much longer than that. It's funny how Sergey – he's like, that was a 6-kilometer answer he gave or whatever. I thought that was so funny. But what's funny because he remembered all the names, but then afterwards he's like, oh – I forgot that he gave a shout out to Ali Abdelaziz about whatever, some matchmaking or whatever. And it's funny because I was like, bro, I heard him mention certain people's names, and I was like, how is he ever going to keep track of all this and remember the names? And when I heard him start checking off the names, I did remember thinking like, oh, he didn't. I know he said Ali in December, but there was so much other like stuff that I didn't think about it. And then when he mentioned at the end, I was like, dude. The fact that you still recognized after all that and all the other stuff that I forgot that I left out a person. I was like, dude, good on you, man. I was like, bro, you crushed that answer, man. I was incredible.
I'm glad you shared that thought with me.
Whenever he set it off and he started talking, I was like, oh my goodness. I was like, I know I asked him a question that we could get some thought, but I was like, this is much more than what I thought we were going to get.
Rizvan was like, cold coffee, I've been waiting to hear from you for so long, and now that you are here, I will give you the best answer of any interview I've ever given anybody in my life.
It was a 21, it was like a 21, 22-minute interview. I was like, that never happens with a Rizvan or even most Russian fighters. That would never happen. So, yeah, he felt like talking. When they feel like talking, they will talk. So, yeah, it was pretty funny. But, yeah, give Sergey all the love, man. That was incredible.
I love it, man. Well, I'm looking forward to the event. Like I said, I won't go into a preview of the PFL card, but the top 2 fights of the PFL are really, really good. And so, honestly, man,
it's a really good card.
Really, really good card. So, honestly, you want to get up on Saturday and watch the fights early in Dubai. Then you got the UFC, BKFC, as I said, actually free as well, which I thought that was really cool because this is their big like Knucklemania event. This is their big annual one. Yeah, they're streaming it for free.
Or what?
Yeah, it's on any of their broadcast partners and YouTube on top of that. So yeah, maybe in the press room if you want to have that pulled up on the side. Yeah, absolutely free. So all that Saturday, that's big. I'm looking forward to getting back for that. Friday night, though. Friday night, it is CFFC 150 at the 2300 Arena. I would tell you that if you're in the Philadelphia area that you should come get tickets, but there ain't no tickets left, man. It is sold out. This place is going to be packed, which I love that. 3 title fights. I will say, I'll preview the 3 title fights first. Busserman Zermagul and Daniel Morrison for the vacant welterweight title fight. Busserman, if you've watched CFFC, he's been one of our fast-rising stars for a while. 4-0, 4 finishes, youngster in his early 20s, very, very tall for the weight class. But this is a big test. Daniel Morrison looked really good last time out, dominant. He's more of a veteran. He's been around. He's, Busserman, because he's been so dominant. I always worry about this, right? Like when somebody's dominant, that's great. But what happens when you get tested? You know what I mean? What happens when that guy doesn't go away in the first round? What happens when you aren't able to get him out of there quick? What happens when you go to round 3, round 4, round 5? Are you still there? I think, I'm sure even Daniel Morrison, maybe not on record, but would admit off record, round 1's probably not the one where I'm looking to go out there and dominate. You know what I mean? I got to get through round 1, and then that's where my opportunities open up. But that's a really good welterweight title fight. Lightweight title fight as well. Nikita Leshikov, came from France, 8-0, undefeated, insane, great striker. Is actually living in Las Vegas. Extreme Couture. Eric Nixick is actually flying tonight. He's going to corner him Friday night, so I think Eric Nixick gets here tonight because Nikita is living out in Las Vegas to train now. But he's training against another veteran in Will Starks as well. Will's excited for this opportunity, a chance for the lightweight title. And then, a high-level strawweight title fight. You got Japan's Arisa Matsuda, Kazakhstan's Ayan Tursin, 7-0 versus 8-1. Arisa Matsuda got a win on road to UFC. Didn't get the contract because it was a decision. It was a split decision, so she's back trying to get back to the UFC. Ayan Tursin, 8-1, lone loss, a split decision. So this is a fight that really, really could be a road to UFC type fight. I mean, two incredibly high level women hailing from that part of the world. So 3 title fights at the top. But we were supposed to have a 4th title fight actually, but we had to change, and we'll get to all that. It got moved to March. So that's great. But the one fight I think that everybody has circled as well, and honestly one of the reasons we are so sold out, Damian Anderson, 4-0, incredible prospect. He's from New Jersey, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt, high-level seasoned competitor, owns a school here in New Jersey, but he moved to Austin and actually ended up buying what was the B-Team gym, and now it's Simple Man Martial Arts. He owns that gym, so he lives down in Austin, trains down in Austin with that whole jiu-jitsu phenomenon that's happening in Austin. So this is like a homecoming fight for him because he's from Jersey. We're in Philly, but that's just down the road. He sold a whole bunch of VIP tables, a whole bunch of tickets, like
nice.
his students and friends and family that haven't had a chance to see him fight because his MMA career started in Texas, so they've never had a chance to see him fight in person, so they're flocking. But he's facing Alejandro Gutierrez. Alejandro Gutierrez, 4-1. He debuted for us. He's out of New Mexico. He's out of Fit NHB. Hondo is – remember the name Hondo Gutierrez. Win or loss here, remember the name because, this dude will fight anybody. He came in last time, 17-second TKO win. And so an amazing debut. And he's one of these guys that, he's all he's wanted to ever do is fight. Like since he was a little kid, like he just wanted to fight. Growing up in New Mexico, he just wanted to fight. Apparently he got shot when he was 8 years old. And I guess obviously that was traumatizing for him, but it made him realize if I'm going to survive this world, I got to be tough as hell and I got to fight. And so he just always wanted to fight. And now he's here, biggest opportunity of his career. So you got the heavy-handed, scrappy knockout artist versus the BJJ expert, who the BJJ expert is like, yeah, but I'm well-rounded now, so I got hands too. So it's like, how does it play out? So that's a great one. So a lot of great fights all the way up and down. A couple of next-gen fights that look good to start the night, and then we get in the pro ranks. And Dean Thomas just got into town as well, so it'll be me and Dean Thomas on the mic. So that is nice. Friday night. Please, everybody, tune in on UFC Fight Pass for what I think should be a good fight card. And then, man, we've been working behind the scenes this week. I had to fly here a little early because we had some meetings all day yesterday. We've got a lot of really cool announcements coming up, and I think it's going to be a big year for CFFC and a couple big years over the next few years. So, anyway.
That's that GM stuff right there because they got that GM taking over. That's what's up.
They got that GM handling business. Yeah, just a small part of the team, just a cog in the machine. You know what I mean? Just a cog. But yeah, I'm excited. We got some really cool stuff, and then it's always funny because it's so different now because like commentating before was always the job, right? Like they come out here and my job is to be researched and my job is to call the fights and all that, and now. Like, the job is all the stuff that happens during the week, and then the calling the fights is like, that's just the fun part. You know what I mean? Like, at that point, like, the work's over, which is such a weird thing. Like, the fights are starting. I no longer feel like I'm working at that point. Like, I'm just
that's the fun stuff.
Now it's me and my boy just sitting here talking fights, hanging out. You know what I mean?
Eating burgers, eating wings, whatever they bring y'all. It's crazy.
It was funny because we were talking about a couple potential sponsors and some partnerships that we have in works, and one of them was like an alcohol company, and I'm like, well, if you need me to consume the product on air, just to give them a little plug, I'm like, John Morgan's down.
You don't have to bring me a burger. Bring me a double wide glass of something.
I'm telling you, I'll have the bottle right there, and we could just be having some cocktails throughout the night. Product placement will not be an issue. An issue. So. All right. Anyway, well, listen. Speaking of that, I got to run. I've got some work to get to, so I know you got some work today as well. So I know you got to get to that. So we'll cut this one just a few minutes short. But great to catch up. I will be back in town next week. Man, we got BJJ next week. Zuffa. You know what? I'm thinking I might start doing some more coverage of some stuff outside the UFC. Like, the fact that I don't really work for anybody anymore kind of made me want to stop covering the UFC stuff because I'm like, what am I even doing here? Like that. I mean, we've kind of talked about it where I'm like, should I even be in this room? Like, you guys are working for outlets and doing all this stuff, and am I just getting in your way and taking away opportunities for you to build your relationship with athletes? And am I just being selfish? But I still enjoy the media side of it. But I haven't wanted to go out and get a job in it because I'm loving what I'm doing. But I started thinking about it. I was like, Well, there's not as much media covering like BJJ and boxing and stuff like that. So like there, maybe I feel like I'm doing something that like kind of serves a need, you know what I mean, and helps out a little bit, you know what I mean, like gives those athletes a chance to talk, and that maybe people aren't covering them as much. So I think I might next week. You know, there's no UFC going on, and obviously we'll be done with CFFC. So I think maybe do a little BJJ, do a little boxing, and throw it up on our YouTube channel. Put it on, put it on the Roadshow YouTube channel.
Put on the Roadshow.
I
like it.
Because I don't want to really
like it.
I don't really want to start my own channel, but we got the Roadshow, and maybe we can put some, maybe I can put some stuff up there. So just some food for thought. I've been kicking it around a little bit lately. As I was attending the last couple boxing events and the BJJ, I was like, maybe this is something I can do where I feel useful, and I'm not in the way, that I'm actually doing something, that I'm not bothering everybody else. So.
Then you can partake in the concessions like I do.
Yeah, exactly.
I love the smash burgers.
The Apex smash burger is pretty solid, not gonna lie. The Meta Apex smash burger is good. All right, listen, I got work, you got work, so good catching up with you, Cold Coffee. Stay warm out there in Las Vegas. It's actually getting colder every single day of the week that I'm here. I'm looking forward.
I'm glad you brought your warm shorts.
These are the thicker ones. Keep me a lot warm. Yes, I'm looking forward to good fights. I'm looking forward to getting back home. Meantime, everybody else, thanks for listening.